Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SI-Talk Interview und immer, also wenn die Möglichkeit besteht und er Zeit hat, mache ich eine Stippvisite bei Bradford Cooke, dem CEO von Endeavour Silber, weil er für mich so ein Indikator ist, wie der Markt läuft, wie es den Silberstocks geht. Und ich bin selbst Aktionär, habe gar keine so kleine Position, ich habe es jetzt zum Glück auch ein-, zweimal nachgekauft. So, ich habe also einen Konflikt of Interest, dass ich Aktionär bin. Und ja, jetzt ist natürlich die Frage, wie hat sich jetzt seit dem letzten Update, das letzte war eher sehr verhalten, wo er gesagt hat, wir müssen uns anpassen, der Silberpreis läuft nicht, wir müssen Cuts vornehmen. In der Zwischenzeit hat der Markt gedreht. Silber ist auf einem ganz anderen Niveau als wie damals. Und jetzt schauen wir mal, wie sich seine Strategie da jetzt dementsprechend adaptiert. Brad, I said in my German introduction, first I have a conflict of interest. I'm a shareholder, bought several times the stock. So at the moment I'm sitting on a nice position for me, for my size, and I'm really confident that I will good money out of it. The reason is simple. We saw the break in the gold price first. 1 month later, we see it in the silver price. I think we are now in a total different, my thinking, a total different phase or we are now in the second leg of the bull market. The first leg was 2016, then it was a long correction. Now we have the leg, the next leg, but the interesting thing is the last interview we were doing in May, I think. That was a total opposite. The silver price not performed. The mines have some troubles for sure with this low silver price. So you refocus your company to cost cutting and so on and so on. So how it's changed over the summertime?
Excellent question. Multi-part answer, I think. Perhaps I can touch on initially our operating mines. Because they provide leverage to higher metal prices. Then I'd like to touch on our development projects or growth projects because they will transform the company. And then last we can finish with an overview on gold and silver, where we are in the cycle. So since we saw you last May, we at that time were struggling with 2 of our 4 mines losing money, and it's not acceptable for our group. We recognize that they're our 2 oldest mines, and so probably the biggest challenge is to turn them around. But we did sweeping changes between April and July. And the first indications that those changes are effectively turning around the operational and financial performance of Guanaceví and Bolañitos was in the costs. So if all of the changes were made in Q2, in Q3, the first metric we're going to look to is how are we doing on costs? Are they down significantly? And while we haven't published those costs yet, I can tell you that based on our internal reports, things are looking very good on the cost side. The second metric that we'll look for is the change from falling production to rising production. And it'll take till year end for us to see that. But we're confident that the changes we've made will actually have 4 profitable mines by year end.
And what does it mean on profitable? What kind of average silver price you need that you'll be profitable?
We used $15 silver this year for all of our modeling, and that is our target.
Okay. Good.
So everything else is a bonus. Secondly, on our development projects, we are the only silver mining company to have a significant development portfolio. We have 2 mines we're proposing to build in Mexico over the next 3.5 years to approximately double our production. So this organic growth profile is not only the best in the business, it's one of the very few in the business. Almost every other silver company needs to acquire something in order to grow. And the 2 projects I'm talking about, Terronera and Parral, are dominantly silver. Terronera about 65% silver, 35% gold by revenue. And Parral, which is hopefully our 6th mine, is approximately 100% silver. So we will remain a silver dominant company. And that leads us now to silver prices and gold prices. You know, in May, there was no sign of any life in the gold and silver business. Then in June, the gold price finally started to move at completely the wrong time of year. We're supposed to sell in May and go away, the conventional wisdom. But gold started to move in June and took off in July. Silver was flat in June, but finally started to tiptoe after gold in July and then really started to play catch up in August. So a reflection on the last 3 months and looking forward for the next 3 months, I think we clearly have a new leg to the gold-silver cycle. In other words, a new leg to the cycle of currencies in which gold and silver are denominated. And this is just the start of a cycle. This is a multi-year cycle, in my view, because of the global implications for gold and silver. So looking back, we had a nice run in silver from $15 all the way to $19.50. It's pulled back now to $17 US. Maybe some bounce for the next few days. I think retesting that kind of $16.50 to $17 range is a must in October, November. But I think clearly move to higher prices towards year end as the risk of liquidity crisis globally, the risk of an equity crash globally diminishes as we get through this typical challenging time of year. So I'm a bull, short term and long term. And I think that anything above $15 silver is just a bonus.
That is a perfect summary, but I won't. Normally, we can stop the interview. But with this maybe new bull market, or hope, I'm also a believer that we're in a new bull, maybe for other reason. I think also that, for example, the European, you get negative interest rates on your savings, so why you should have it. So, and in the past everybody talk, but gold and silver, they don't pay interest. In Europe we are happy that we must not pay something for our savings. So this is also a thing that we maybe bring up a big new market, and if only switch a fraction.
Listen, through the majority of financial history in the world, economic history of the world, gold and silver were not investments that generated a return. But from time to time, they generate massive returns because they are effectively a store of value against currency debasement. We had, think about it, since 2008, the financial crisis, we had a full 10 years of slow but growing global growth, economic growth. We had slowly rising interest rates, and we had a 10-year boom in the global equity markets. And yet this summer, all of those turned around, and they're looking very toppy. Now, the insiders from China that I talk to are saying internal GDP growth in China this year, less than 2%. Nothing like what you hear in the newspapers or in the media. So global economic growth is definitely pulling back. Interest rates, U.S. has already turned from increasing to decreasing. Europe is already negative.
Yeah, we are not starting the increasing, we are all on the low end. No, it's an interesting time, and we should also not forget gold. What you say was always a perfect storage of value, and no currency around the globe can catch up to this.
You know, about 2 months ago, the largest hedge fund manager in the world, Ray Dalio, published a blog basically questioning the investment paradigm worldwide and stating that it has changed. And when the facts change, he changes. And it's time, the last sentence of his blog was, it's time to consider gold in the portfolio. Why? Because gold isn't a competitive investment for 9 years out of 10, but that 10th year it's invaluable. And we're coming into that 10th year.
Coming back to the company. So you do In the summertime, the hard work that you changed these two mines, that they are now hopefully to a year-end profitable. You calculate everything on $15. It's very important, I think, to know. So everything above is a bonus. And you calculate this $15 that you make profit on these 4 mines with $15.
Our goal this year was to make money at $15. And while 2 mines started losing money at $15, we expect them to be back making money by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly this. Then you have a growth portfolio, but you're looking for other opportunities, other new exploration projects, and so on?
Always we're looking to the long-term future. And from time to time we make acquisitions. Mergers and acquisitions are something we have done in the past, not typically by acquiring companies, but typically by acquiring assets. We're very busy on that side. With luck, we'll have something new by year-end. No guarantees, of course. More importantly, if you look at our development portfolio, these were not acquisitions, these were discoveries by our exploration team. Nähere will become our largest and longest life, highest grade and lowest cost mine, with an initial mine life of 12 years and with the upside to 20 years easily. So we think that this construction of our next mine, our 5th mine at Nähere, is very, very important for the company. It will basically take us into the senior ranks of silver producers. The project after that, it's still a little bit early stage to be talking about it, but it is our biggest exploration project this year. We're talking about the Parral property in Chihuahua State, Mexico. And we already have 45 million ounces of total resources, and that was from 0 2 years ago. We think there's 60 to 90 million ounces at Parral, and we definitely want to consider it to be mine number 6. So these 2 projects, I think, represent the future of the company short term. And we always are adding exploration projects. We can't talk much about them yet, but Chile, for instance, we announced in February of this year, we have 3 world-class prospects, and we're drilling 2 of them here between now and year-end.
So that means we will see news flow from this side too?
Correct.
Brett, thank you for the update. Next time, I think January, then we can see if you reach the goal.
Very good. On all 3 fronts.
On all 3 fronts.
On production, on development, and on discovery.
Perfekt. Ja, Update, Endeavour Silber. Er hat es eigentlich ganz gut auf den Punkt gebracht, da brauche ich nicht wirklich viel dazu sagen. Also das Wichtigste war, dass quasi die 2 Minen, die eigentlich bei $15 einen Verlust gemacht haben, sie jetzt umgedreht haben und die sollten jetzt eigentlich wieder profitabel sein, spätestens bis zum Jahresende. Was heißt das? Alle 4 Minen sollen profitabel bei $15 Silberpreis sein. Alles, was drüber ist, wir sind jetzt irgendwo 17,50 oder sowas, ist natürlich da ein Bonus und schlägt sich natürlich sofort auf den Gewinn nieder. Wichtig ist natürlich, was passiert in der Zukunft. Nähere ist eine größte, die langlebendste, die niedrigstkostenste Mine, die sie Mine Nummer 5 sozusagen in Produktion bringen wollen. When you expected that Nähere can be in production?
Assuming that we raise the debt financing this quarter and we commence construction January 1st, it's an 18-month build to cash flow in the middle of 2021.
Okay, also Mitte 2021 könnte die in Produktion gehen und die wird natürlich die Company eigentlich total umdrehen, weil das natürlich die Zukunft des Unternehmens ist. Höchste Gehalte, niedrigste Kosten und sehr langes Minenleben. Was sie dazu brauchen, ist Debt-Finanzierung jetzt in diesem Quartal und dass der Spatenstich dann natürlich im ersten Quartal 2020 passiert, denn die Construction dauert ungefähr 18 Monate. Ich glaube, das Umfeld ist sehr gut. Wäre vor 4 Monaten wahrscheinlich wesentlich schwieriger gewesen, aber mit diesem Silberpreis und mit diesem Ausblick schaut das jetzt natürlich ganz anders aus. Sie haben nur ein 6. Projekt, das Parral. Das haben sie jetzt schon 45 Millionen Unzen drauf, ist und das darf man nicht vergessen, beide Projekte sind nicht akquiriert worden, sondern das waren Eigenentwicklungen sozusagen von ihren eigenen Explorationsleute haben das gefunden. Ganz wichtig zu verstehen, dass die sehr gute Explorationsleute haben, die auch eigene Projekte finden können. Und dann haben wir natürlich über Akquisitionen noch gesprochen. Akquisition ist immer ein Thema. Wenn irgendwas daherkommt, dann kann es durchaus passieren, dass das auch dort passiert. Und was man auch nicht vergessen sollte, in Chile, das haben sie im Frühjahr announced, da haben sie auch 3 sehr gute Projekte. 2 davon werden jetzt gebohrt und das könnte sozusagen die nächste Story sein. Also bis zum Jahresende werden wir relativ viel sehen. Erstens mal können es die Minen natürlich tatsächlich umdrehen. Funktioniert das mit den Kosten? Wie schauen die Bohrergebnisse auch in Chile aus? Können es die Debt-Finanzierung machen natürlich für Nähere? Und Spatenstich sollte möglicherweise auch sogar noch sein, bevor ich dann im Jänner wieder mein nächstes Interview mache. Also ich glaube, wir haben sehr viele mögliche Treiber für eine zukünftige Kursentwicklung und natürlich sollte der Silberpreis bis November, gehe ich davon aus, dass wir konsolidieren, dann ausbrechen im Dezember und neue Hochs machen und endlich einmal in die 2022er Bereich vorstoßen, dann ist Endeavour Silber eine der Aktien mit den höchsten Hebel auf den Silberpreis. Das war es von Endeavour Silber, Bradford Cooke im Oktober 2019, Vancouver. Tschüss und Baba. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.